does. Joni, 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 Joni.
She's sleeping.
Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Jude. What's it doing? Oh, what's this doing?
Do you need to hit play?
No. For a commercial?
Well,
Really?
there was a play button.
Sure. Okay. I think we're live.
All right.
Huh.
Let's oh, that sounds atrocious. Oh my God. That literally made me want to poke eyeballs.
Sorry. All right. I think we're almost there. Let's see. So that's on and that's on. We got a William on here. We got a DW Lowe. We got a Bride G. We got a Mark Duval. Very cool. June, Judy, June. Junie, June.
Oh, they are rat.
What?
Well, I can see what I'm typing is way down here.
Joni.
So we can't actually see. Or I can't see what I'm typing.
Okay.
How do you want to play it?
Is this something that we can't get rid of?
Who knows?
Wonder what that does.
Makes it worse.
I see no X up there.
Oh, well.
Ass hats.
Ooh, Marty Divine.
Marty Divine is on here. We have William on here. Thank you guys so much for joining. We got a lot of fun stuff tonight. Going to introduce a new thingamabopper.
Oh, that's big.
You know what I mean? A little thing I like to call my thingamabopper.
Oh, this is a family show. Let's keep this G.
Have y'all been to Sonic today? I want to encourage you all out there to make sure you stop by your friendly neighborhood Sonic.
Did you refill that with something
whether you use the Sonic app, on the Sonic app, it is always happy hour when you order with the Sonic app. Cheers.
They're not paying us.
Huh? What?
They're not paying us.
What do you mean they're not paying us?
They said I don't know who you are.
Take it. All right. So fun stuff tonight. Fun stuff. Look what I have laid out before us in all of its magnificent glory. Now this is a work in progress. I haven't finished these up, but I'm working on them. Hopefully I'll have them. I guess one way or another they will be used on Sunday. They will be played on Sunday. It's 8:00. Hey everybody, this is Dave here at Pulp Alley, and I am with the world's most dangerous Bessy.
Hello.
Ba-bam.
Ba-bam.
And her
and the baby.
Fearsome sidekick, the baby June.
So watch out.
June Dawn.
She'll karate chop you.
Hiya. Hey everybody, take a moment real quick here while I'm thinking about it, because it's written on my piece of paper here, and click that like button for us. We really appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you ought to be. So you get subscribed to our little channel here by hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you will have your notifications on, so hit that bell. I know sometimes that goes off, so make sure that is clicked for you so you get a notification when we upload a new video. And take a moment and share this video so we can reach a wider audience. Enough said. Lots of fun stuff, lots of cool questions to go over, lots of Q&A section. I wanted to show you these cool new miniatures that I'm working on. These are by Pulp Figures, part of their Western and Mexican line. Very, very cool. Obviously, they are a work in progress. They are not done. This is me trying the speed paints for the very first time.
I
What
think
do you
they look
guys
really
think so
great.
far?
I'm impressed with it.
Yeah. What do you guys think so far? Have you guys used these Army Painter speed paints? I think they actually look pretty darn good on the camera here. Um, and yeah, they seem to work as suggested. So I'm pretty happy so far with how they're going along. Let's see. And planning on using these on Sunday because who do you think is coming to
Ooh.
play? Bessie,
Do I give the real answer?
would you like to reveal the reveal?
The Bob Merch.
The Bob Merch. Not just
Not just
a
not
Bob
just any
Merch.
random.
Not just a random Bob Merch that you find around, as you find so often these days. You know, you find a lot of what are they, rip-offs, counterfeit Bob Merches out there, but we're talking
Knockoffs.
about the real thing. So the real, honest to goodness Canadian version of the
Ooh.
Bob Merch, a fancy imported version of Bob Merch is coming to join us on Sunday. I still don't know what the scenario is going to be, but I know I'm going to be using these figures. And I have to decide fairly quickly because I have to put together the setup video for Friday,
Which is tomorrow.
So like within the next 10 minutes or so, I have to come up with a scenario.
Being on time.
That's how we work. That's how we work around here. Flying by the seat of our pants. Who else do we have on here? We got a Mortis 005. We have an E.S. Taylor. Thank you so much for joining. We got a Mac Daddy. We have a Robert Reynolds. Very cool. Thank you guys so much for jumping on here. So a big section of Q&A tonight. But I wanted to talk about this new idea that I had for May. Is that the next month? April, May. For May, what I would like to do is give away some of these stickers.
Oh, pick me.
See my stickers that I have laid out here so far and wide? So far and wide. Stickers everywhere. And what I would like to do in the month of May is I'd like to give away a whole bunch of these stickers.
Ooh.
So what I'd like to encourage y'all to do is leave a comment in this video, not in the chat. Please don't put it in the chat. But when we're done with this video, put a comment in the video itself, and make it a Pulp Alley question. Because if you leave a question in our live with Bessy and Dave videos, if you leave a comment in that video, a question, and then if we read it the following week, if we answer it and respond to it and do it, then that will get you one of these stickers.
For the whole month?
For the entire month of May, as long as supplies last.
Ooh.
I can't say exactly what sticker it'll be because I got a kind of an assortment of stickers. But so what you got to do throughout the month of May, and this is actually going to start with this video. So if you come back to this video after it's done and you have a rules question, if you have a question about how to put together a league, if you have a question about how a particular scenario, if you have a question about how to change your oil, Bessy can answer that. Possibly we'll read that question on the air. Probably not.
You never know.
Maybe. But if we read your question on the following week, then you will get one of these stickers. If we have supplies remaining, if you make sure I have a shipping address to send that sticker to. Because that's one of the things that people don't do sometimes. They'll like sign up to get a prize, but then they won't give me any way to actually send it to them. And when I reach out, sometimes they don't reply, and it's yada, yada, yada. So if you win one of these stickers, you got to make sure you give us an address that we can send it off to. All right. Not a knockoff merch. No, sir. No, sir, Mr. Duval. I would not try to pass a knockoff merch
He might.
off on you.
He
I
might.
would not. I would not. You take that back.
I heard
You're
you
going to
practice.
sit there and besmirch me. I am being besmirched. I think a defamation lawsuit needs to start up any
Bring
moment
it.
now. I think I covered this page. Page 2. So let's get into some questions. So save your questions tonight. Probably if you really do have a question that you'd like us to answer, come back to this video after we're done. We're only going to be on here for another, 15, 20 minutes or so. So come back to this video after it's uploaded, type it into the comments, and then if we read it next week, you'll get yourself a fancy schmancy sticker.
Oh,
I loves them stickers.
big talk.
Big talk, big talk, big talk. We got lots of questions, so I want to start in on these. So this question comes up a lot, and it is about playing with more players. So, she's doing. Yes, Taylor asked how June is doing. June is doing super fantastic. She just recently had a doctor's appointment, and she got her shots. I think rabies or something. I don't know exactly what their shots they were giving her, but
Is her superhero shot?
superhero shots. So yeah, she's doing super fantastic. So and I really like to get y'all's input on this as well, because you guys have a lot of good ideas about this. And the question is, so I'm gonna give you my spiel on it, because this is a question that we've received over and over again for like the last 9 years or so. And that is, how do I play with a bigger group? For Pulp Alley, I don't design any of my scenarios for more than 4 players. Now, some of the scenarios easily work for more than 4 players, but all of the scenarios that I design are specifically designed for 1 to 4 players. So people say, well, what if I have 5 players? What if I have 6 players? Then what do I do? And that can come up quite a bit when you're doing conventions and stuff like that. So here is my prepared response that I frequently give. Number 1 is don't. Don't do it. Don't do a game with 5 or 6 players. You're going to have a lot more fun in general if you split the group into 2, and you can easily do 2 games on a single table and have a lot of fun. Basically, that's how it's going to go anyway. If you try to put 6 players on a table, it's basically going to break down into, these guys going at it over here and these guys going at it over here. That's kind of the way those things just naturally happen. So why not just do that ahead of time and split them into 2 groups and have them play 2 separate games? You could easily have 2 games going on simultaneously. Get a couple fortune decks and just go with it. I really do. I feel like that is the best solution. Pulp Alley games are fast and engaging, and you could even if you only had room for 1 game, it would be better to have like 3 guys play in 1 game and then have 3 guys play in a second game, rather than trying to get everybody on the table at the same time. So that's, but because I know you're still going to try it, here are my other responses to it. Limit the league sizes. Give each player, instead of giving each player 10 slots, basically give them 5 slot leagues. And that means a leader, a sidekick, and an ally. Just give every single player 3 characters. Also, if you are the host, then I encourage you to not put a league on the table and try to be a player. If you're the host, and you have 6 guys coming over to play, I would really encourage you to step back from the table and let your guests play, and you act as the game master, the rules answerer,
Yeah,
and
keep
that
it
sort of
moving.
thing,
Yeah.
right? The number one job of that, if you're in that role as a game master, and when I do like a convention game or something like that, my number one focus is simply to keep track of who is the director and keep them on task.
Yeah.
Because if the director drifts off and isn't paying attention and isn't engaged in the game, then that's going to really cause the whole wheels to come off. So it's really common in a convention setting where I just simply spend most of my time saying, "You're the director. Who's going next?" And keep the director when it
Yeah.
changes. You have to keep the director engaged in the game. Let's see. You probably are going to need, if you're having a bigger group of players, you might want to consider having 2 fortune decks. Even if you don't split them into 2 groups, even if you have everybody trying to play on the same
Yeah, you're gonna
table,
burn a lot of cards.
you're going to burn through the cards pretty quick. So it's nice to have 2 decks and just shuffle them together. The last one on my list that I normally suggest is that once one player starts activating their characters, that player continues to activate all of their characters. So rather than bouncing around from one player to the next after each character activates, saying, "Okay, I want you to go again. I want you to go again. I want you to go again." Instead, you just say, "Joe, I want you to activate." And then Joe activates all of his characters. And when he is done and he has activated all the characters that he can, whoever is currently the director gets to pick the next player to activate all of their characters. So it kind of simplifies the flow a little bit. But again, I would always recommend splitting the group and doing 2 separate games. I don't remember who that question came from. I think that was Gunnar or something like that.
Yeah.
Good question, and it definitely pops up fairly often through the years. See, how are we doing over here? She's doing great. Awesomeness. We played Vice Alley with 3 um, 3 players, and it worked well. Yeah. Yeah, with 3 players, that worked really well. And I don't think we did 3 players all the time. I mean, there were 3 participants in the campaign, and I think several of the games were 3-player games. Some of them were only 2-player. If somebody didn't make it, that week,
Yeah.
we didn't shut down. We just kept playing.
Mhm.
I think this one came from Gregory. Gregory was talking about starting a campaign and sustaining his leagues. So what that means is you basically want to keep track of the rewards that you gain at the end of the scenario. And there's actually a sheet for keeping track of that stuff here at the very back of the characters book. I don't know if I can get this on here. Probably not. Does
Yeah,
that show
kinda.
almost, sorta,
Yeah.
sorta, kinda? Okay. And this is just where you write down your scenarios over here, the scenarios that you play, and then you write down what resources you gained from that scenario and how much rep and how much XP and if you got anything special out of the scenario. And that's where you can kind of keep track of that. Now, you don't have to use that sheet. You could just as easily keep track of it on a piece of notebook paper or whatever. But that's where you're going to kind of keep track of that. Remember, reputation accumulates over time. So when you end a scenario, you gain an amount of reputation equal to the victory points that you earned in that scenario. And then that rolls over and you have the reputation table then in the book. I don't know, like page 85, 86, something like that, where you can look up and see as your reputation gets higher, that you will gain additional perks too. So that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
But you're right. We could probably do a video about that. We could probably do a video specifically about that. And I think that finishes that page. Okay. How y'all doing tonight?
We have
Okay.
a Neil Morgan on here.
What? We got a Neil Morgan on there?
And Table Salt Games.
Table Salt Games. Very cool. Very cool. I've been meaning to check out your game. Doggone it. What was it? Battle Space, I think. Table Salt Games. I believe that's Robert. I think he does a game called Battle Space, I think. Which, when you initially said that, it made me think of the old Battletech back in another lifetime. I used to play Battletech a lot, and that's what made me think of that old box set for Battletech. But I don't think that's what I think your Battle Space is a completely different thing altogether, which I finally figured out as I was going through it. Okay, we're starting on page 3 here, and I've got about 10 minutes, so we're gonna hustle here. Give me some howdies out there so I can keep track of who's actually on here. If you're on here right now, please give me a howdy. Please make sure you playing BattleTech next week. Type in a howdy. Is that a dildo gaggins on there?
Yep. That is correct.
It's good to have a fine, upstanding group of individuals on here this evening. I got some howdies from the DW. Got a howdy from a Stu Rat. Howdy from an ES Taylor. Give me some, Bessy.
We got a Bride G, a Neil Morgan.
Howdy.
Robert Reynolds.
Robert Reynolds. We got a David Meisner. We got a Marty Devine. We got a Mac Daddy. We got a William. We got a Mark Duvall. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. That is super freaking awesome. For those of you that watched it today, and I felt like I was a little concerned about the length of the video that I did earlier today. And I don't know how many of you guys actually even took the time to watch it, but it was about a 40-minute video. And it was about creating this league, this cowboy league that I have laid out here. And I went through it basically character by character and explained, how to create that character. But I also wanted to kind of encourage y'all as you watch that video to make your own league as well, not simply to copy what I was doing, but to make some of your own choices as well. So I provided different options and things as you watch that video. It's about 40 minutes, so longer than what I have been doing. I did have one person say that they actually liked the longer version of the videos, but I'd like to know what you guys think as well. And I guess one of the big ways that I can tell is whether or not people actually watch it. So if it turns out that video gets, half as many views as I normally get, then that suggests to me that maybe you guys don't like those longer videos. So if that is something that you guys are interested in, is having a video that goes a little more in depth, let me know. I'd like to see your comments here. Is Michael Greenhill on here? I don't think I saw him. I don't think I saw him today. Love the video. Length is fine. Good. Thank you. Oh, we are expecting a delivery.
Oh.
What was that?
Well, I heard a door.
Was that UPS? Okay. All right. So let me know about the longer videos. Somebody was asking on the Facebook group. Let's see. What does this say up here? Played a game last night. Took an ally with a strong dodge skill. Can my opponent break away if they don't win a brawl? So Peter was asking about, can you break away from a engagement if you don't win the brawl? And actually, that has nothing to do with breaking away. So the way that you disengage is two different things. One, did your character choose to dodge? Two, did your character avoid taking any hits? If you did those two things, then you can back up. It is extremely easy to disengage from somebody that is also dodging, because those two characters because a character that's dodging cannot inflict any hits, As soon as somebody says, I'm going to dodge, then you can automatically disengage from it by simply saying, I'll just dodge as well. And then both of you, the active character gets to choose first if they want to disengage. They have the option of moving 1 inch away. If they don't, if they stay there, it doesn't really matter. And then the defending character has the option. They can say, well, I'll move 1 inch away. So yes, those are the two things. The two things that determine whether or not you're allowed to disengage. Winning has nothing to do with it. It is, did you choose to dodge? And did you avoid taking any hits? If you did those two things, then you may disengage from that fight. Scenario cards shuffled. So this was an interesting question that I thought was worth talking about. And the question was, the scenario cards that are included with some of the scenarios, after they are used in some of the scenarios, it says return it to the stack. Now, because the scenario cards are part of the special rules for that scenario, the way they are used is determined by the scenario. In other words, there is no rules in the core rule book about scenario cards because they are not part of the core game. They are purely a special rule. They only appear in certain scenarios. So if you have a question about how to use a scenario card, it almost needs to include the scenario that you are referencing. So let's take a look at this scenario here. This is scenario number 5. I think this is the Inferno. So on this one, chaos in the streets. At the start of each turn, player draws one random scenario card. So whenever it says random, the choice that you make to draw it randomly is up to y'all. So yes, shuffling the cards is a good way to make it random. Sometimes if you watch my videos, you know that I roll a dice to pick out a card too. So whatever choice you're going to do, but shuffling is probably one of the best ways to do it. You take a random card from the deck, you go around the table, and then after all the players resolve their cards, it says shuffle them back into the event stack. So there on that scenario, it specifically says shuffle them back into the event stack. So I would encourage it. I'm not going to go through all of these, but each one of these scenarios has its own rule about how to use the scenario cards within that scenario. And if you're still not sure on it, be sure and ask me again, and I'll try and clarify that. I'll say I only got one question left, and I got a couple minutes. On average, how many minis are required for Pulp Alley? Hundreds, possibly thousands,
That's excessive.
possibly. How big is your house? I think is the real question, because I'm going to be playing on Sunday, and I will be probably using all of these figures that you see here in front of us. And there's something like 11 miniatures here. So you can easily get started with about 10 characters, 10 models. Our starter box starts with 8 miniatures in it.
Yeah.
5 in one league and three characters in another league. So that's 8 miniatures. You could easily get started into Pulp Alley with 8 figures. You could even go lower than that if you really wanted to. You could probably go down to 4 miniatures, but I'd say about a dozen. I'd say, just to be on the safe side, aim for about a dozen, and I think you would be good there. Mac Daddy says big house, painted. Oh, good. I have thousands. Very good. Very good. And that puts me at the end of my list. I'm going to remind you guys, April is Red Herring Month. How much of April do I have left?
2 days.
2 days. 2 days of April left.
No. Yes.
2 days. If you want one of the brand new Red Herring cards, You got to get an order in before the end of this month. You got to get an order in before the end of this month that will ship to you and includes at least $25 worth of stuff. And we will send you what the new red herring card for this year. So how awesome is that? How awesome is that? We will drop this inside the box when we ship it if you included at least $25 worth of stuff. So there's only 2 days left to get this card, and I have, about 8 or so cards left. So if you want one of those cards, don't miss your opportunity to get the brand new red herring for 2022.
Ooh.
Bam! Be sure to join us tomorrow. We'll do a setup video with our cowboy leagues here, our Old West leagues. And then on Sunday, Bob Murch, the legend from the frozen wastes of Canada. Not frozen wastes.
I wouldn't say that.
Frozen tundra of
that's better.
Canada. He's probably right now wearing snowshoes. I picture him right now probably in snowshoes out chopping down trees with a mighty axe or wrestling a bear. He's a man of adventure, that Bob Murch. Man of adventure. That's all the time we have for tonight. We will see you next time. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. We will see you next time. Bye, everybody. Wake up the orchestra. Dun 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 dun